We're going to talk about who can become president. So this document is just an excerpt from the actual Constitution. It is Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to read through this, and then we're going to break it down by talking about what everything means. So let's go ahead and get started. Who can become president? The Constitution tells us who is eligible to become president of the United States. So presidential eligibility. No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of president. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States. So, those are some pretty tough words to understand. So let's break it down a little bit here. So first of all, let's talk about the Constitution. What is the Constitution? It's the system of laws that governs the United States. So the Constitution is a document that describes all of our laws and describes how we are to govern the United States. So that is what the Constitution is. Now let's talk about what a natural-born citizen means. Natural-born citizen. In general, this means someone who was a U.S. citizen at birth, but a precise meaning is not included in our laws. So basically, it just means it has to be somebody who is an American, who was an American from birth. And citizenship laws, we'll go into that in greater detail later, but there are different ways that you can become an American citizen, but our Constitution says that to be president, you must be a natural-born citizen. And then to be eligible, that's a good word to talk about. Eligible means to have the right to do something. So to be eligible something, whenever you guys get into middle school, in order to be eligible to play sports for our school, you have to pass all of your classes. You can't be failing a class or else you lose your eligibility. You don't have the right to play on that team anymore. So the next one, the office of the United States is a way of naming the job of President of the United States. Just like in our class elections, you guys hold an office, like Emory is holding the office of president right now. Starr is holding the office of class secretary. And then let's go back to this part right here. It says 14 years a resident within the United States. That simply means that the person running for president must have lived in the United States for 14 years. So basically it means like you can't be born in America and then come back, 35, 36 years later after living in Europe or Mexico or something, and then run for president. You have to have lived in the United States for 14 years. Basically that's so that you understand, everything that's going on in the country and you've just been a part of that community. And then the last part we're going to talk about is attained to the age of 35 years. That's a fancy way of saying whoever's running for president must be at least 35 years old. So we're going to kind of break this down. Who is eligible to be president? President eligibility requirements. So number one, they must be at least 35 years old. Number two, they must have lived in the United States for 14 years. And number three, they must be an American-born citizen. So I'm going to give you this paper, or your sub will give you this paper, and you will copy these things down. And then you're going to answer on your own over here these two questions. So I'll go ahead and read them to you. Do you think these three qualifications are enough for this important job? Why or why not? And what qualifications would you add to the list? So that is your job for the next few minutes.